In this video, I'm going to illustrate to you exactly why you need to get all of your cash converted into gold or silver. All right, so let's get started.
Because you asked for it.
This is the Hey Ed YouTube channel. I am your host, moderator, and all-around nice guy, Edward Anderson. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't construe anything that I mention in any of my videos as financial advice. Always do your own research before doing anything with your money. Today, we're going to be talking about exactly why you need to get your cash into gold and silver, and you need to do it right now. Okay, so if you're a veteran to my channel, you've heard me talk an awful lot about this issue regarding the U.S. currency. Matter of fact, this issue really relates to all currencies, not just in the United States. But I'm in the U.S., so let's talk about the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar since 1913 has lost over 90% of its buying power. Now, the value of gold has had an inverse relationship with the history of the U.S. dollar. While the dollar has been declining in value in purchasing power, the price of gold has gone up dramatically over the same period of time. Let's take a look at the chart here. So if we look at the chart on the far right side of this article here, you'll see that in 1913, if you take $100,000 worth of gold and compare it to the value of gold today, that $100,000 is worth over $4,500. Actually, this chart ends at 2013, so that number is actually higher. But let's just go with this number for our purposes. Now, over this exact same period of time, what did cash do? $100,000 in 1913 turns into $4,000 of purchasing power today. So over the same period of time, $100,000 worth of gold increased in value to $4,500. And at the same time, cash went from $100,000 to $4,000. What would you rather have had during that period, right? And here's another article illustrating that point. The U.S. dollar devalues by 99% versus gold in 100 years. Gold prices crosses $2,000. Okay, and that article was written in 2020. Okay, now you have to remember that the U.S. dollar is what's called a fiat currency, right? That means it was created by government and created basically out of thin air, right? Now, back in the good old days, the U.S. dollar actually was backed by gold. And that put restraint on our politicians about how much money they could spend. Well, of course, in 1971, they removed the U.S. dollar from the gold standard. And so now the politicians were free to spend whatever amount of money they wanted because there were no limitations. And we've seen the results of that. All of this printing of our currency over decades has been destroying the buying power of our currency, and dramatically more so over the past just 3 years. 40% of all U.S. dollars in existence were created in the past 2.5 years alone. So that is what happens with fiat currencies, these currencies that are created by man. Well, fiat currencies have a perfect track record. They have a 100% failure rate. Every fiat currency that has ever been created has failed. Now, the US dollar is the longest lasting one so far, and at the moment, it's still the world's reserve currency, but even that is under severe attack right now. But if you look at gold, gold has been around since the Chalcolithic period, okay, between 5,000 to 3,000 BC. So that's 5,000 to 8,000 years ago. That's when it was first discovered, and that's when it was first thought be used as barter, as money. Okay, so for illustrative purposes, I thought it'd be fun to use myself as an example. Now, I was born in 1960. I hate to confess it, but it's important to draw this picture, right? Now, if you look at this chart, back in 1960, the average cost of an ounce of gold during that year was $35.27 an ounce, okay? For our purposes, this was rounded out to $36. Let's call it $36. Okay, so we established, for the fun of it, that during my birth year, the average cost for an ounce of gold, the average spot price, was $36. Now, let's pretend that my parents set aside some gold for me for my future. So they took a look at the average cost of a car in 1960, and I looked it up, and the average cost of a brand new car in 1960 was $2,752. So let's call it $2,800 to make things easy, okay? So the average cost of gold in 1960, $36. The average cost of a brand new car, $2,800. So how much gold would my parents have needed in order to buy a brand new car in 1960? Well, If we take $2,800 and we divided that by $36, that means it would have taken 78 ounces of gold in order to buy a new car. All right. So let's just say that rather than buying that new car, they took those 78 ounces of gold and put it into a box and set it aside for me. And when I turned 18, they gave it to me and I held on to it. So how much would those 78 ounces of gold be worth today? Well, let's take today's spot price, which is a little over $1,800, okay? Well, 78 ounces of gold times 1,800 is $140,000. Okay, so you tell me, would I be able to buy a new car today for $140,000? Yeah, I can get a new car for $140,000. I can probably get two really nice ones. Okay, see this? I know it's a little blurry there. I have a hard time getting it to focus. This is a 1 ounce golden eagle. Right? It's got a $50 face value, but of course, with the spot price, it's worth, well, it's a 1 ounce of gold, right? So it's worth about $1,800 if I wanted to go out and sell it a little bit more. Now, back in 1913, this $50 piece would have been able to buy two beautiful brand new tailored suits. Well, today, the same $50 piece, even though the face value is $50, it's actually worth over $1,800. So again, I'd be able to buy a couple of beautiful brand new tailored suits. So this $50 piece maintained its buying power, whereas during the same period of time, the cash value of that money went down by over 90%. The US dollar is under attack by global actors. They're looking to replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. And the US dollar as the world's reserve currency has been greatly reduced in just the past few years. I mean, right now, the overall percentage of world trade that's being conducted in US dollars is a little over 50%, which is really bad. And there is a concerted global effort by our enemies to replace the US currency as the world's reserve currency. Okay, so for the sake of this video, this is cut to the chase. What this means to you is that the cash you have sitting in your bank and in your wallet is going down in value every single day between inflation and between the other actors around the world taking measures to bring it down. So as you know by my other videos, the cash you have sitting in your bank is not safe to begin with. So between your cash not being safe in your bank and the value of your currency going down, having cash sitting in your bank is a really, really bad investment. It's a really bad place to park your cash. But you can preserve your buying power by putting that cash into gold and silver. Now listen, when you buy gold and silver, you're not really buying anything. Let's be clear about that. All you're doing is moving your assets from a really bad asset class into a solid one. And when the next big financial crisis comes, and hopefully you're able to get your cash out of your bank, but you might not be able to, that cash is not going to buy you very much. But if you preserved the buying power of your money by putting it into these guys, you're going to be in a position to go out and scoop up real estate, luxury cars, take luxury trips for pennies on the dollar. So, and don't think that gold and silver is just for the rich, okay? Now, I'm in a program that I've talked about before in my program called 7K Metals. And I've got a playlist on the videos I made about 7K Metals. You should check those videos out, particularly the first video with the purple background. Check that out because I can do the full official presentation on 7K Metals. We do Zoom calls all the time talking about 7K Metals. Now, there are a lot of reasons why I love 7K Metals as my source of gold and silver. One of them being people can buy their gold and silver in fractional amounts. Let's say you have just $5 or $10. You can buy $5 or $10 worth of gold or silver in your account. By the way, everything that I just talked about in this video regarding gold, the same holds true for silver. But just to save time, I just focused on gold. But silver serves the same purpose. Okay, so listen. Whether you use 7K Metals in order to acquire your gold and silver, like I do, or you just get it somewhere else, you need to start getting your cash converted into gold and silver. And this is something that you should not wait to do. You should get on this because there are things going on in the world that any one of those events you could wake up one day and something really dramatic happens and you want the peace of mind of knowing that you're set. And the only asset that's going to give you that peace of mind are these guys, gold and silver. My sign-up link for 7K Metals is in the description below in case you want to join my team. But what I would prefer you do is have you contact me so we can talk either on the phone or by a personal Zoom, or have you attend one of our live Zoom presentations on 7K Metals, because we do a lot of Zoom calls on 7K Metals. There's a really good support system there. Okay, so again, whether you get your cash into gold and silver via 7K Metals, like me and my group, or you do it another way, just do it. Get your cash out of your bank, out of your sock drawer, and get it into gold and silver. Okay, so that's the lecture for today. I'm adamant about this, but there's a reason why I'm adamant about it. I want you to be secure with your money. And yeah, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Okay, so please give this video a like. Please subscribe. Give me a comment in the description below. Let me know what you think about gold and silver. Ed Anderson, live from Minnesota, signing out.
Copy that.